Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy, and we're specifically going to talk about understanding streaming as a domestic American crisis and an opportunity for Vivek Ramaswamy to distinguish himself as a unique American leader, right? Addressing a real problem, right? That other Republican contenders are not willing to face, right? So, first of all, let's dig into this. What are you talking about, like Scott saying that streaming is a domestic American crisis? It is. Let's get into it. So, first of all, if you don't know, now you know, as Biggie said. Grace Randolph is the best movie reviewer on the planet. She's better. Like, Chris Stuckman is not worthy of cleaning Grace Randolph's Nikes, right? Like, he should be ashamed of the job he does as a movie reviewer compared to what Grace does. She does. I think she releases content multiple times a day and 5 days a week. Like, she does her job at a level that no other movie reviewer on the planet does. And she said today, flat out, she said, I think streaming is the worst thing, could be the worst thing that ever happened to Hollywood. And what she meant by that is, and she's been talking about this for a long time, and what she's explained is that the entire Hollywood industry trained people from 2020 to 2023 to never go see movies in a movie theater. They trained them, right? And why on earth would they possibly do that? Because they all thought, right, Universal, Warner Brothers, Disney, they all thought that they would find gold mines in them thar hills of streaming. And what they found out is that only Netflix, who is not Hollywood, right, and came up through a different route, is the only one who's been able to even remotely make that marginal. Disney Plus is the number 2 streamer in the world, right? Oh, and also Amazon. They're in the Hollywood game now. They make movies, they make shows, right? Like Jeff Bezos is a Hollywood executive. There's no other way to understand it, right? In my humble opinion. Okay. So what she said is, listen, you got to understand what's happening here, right? And basically, they all said, we don't need the cinema that's lasted for 100 years. We can sacrifice the cinema on the altar of streaming because the streaming is going to make us all rich like Netflix. And so Disney was the first to come out and say, hey, we've been doing this for 3 years, and this is utter garbage. There's no profit. Right? They are bleeding money, right? Disney is having a hard time keeping their share stock up. Disney is getting into massive, direct political combat with the U.S. government, right? It's major. It's huge, right? And so what she said, and so Grace Randolph flat out said it. She said, I think, the streaming could be the worst thing that ever happened to Hollywood. I think she's right. This is a domestic American crisis, right? A DAC, a domestic American crisis, all right? And here's the issue. The U.S. government gets involved when we have a crisis. In 2008, we had a major economic downturn that involved real estate and involved Wall Street, right? And the United States government jumped right in, did massive regulation, and used tax levers, and really very clearly used tax levers to make sure that everything that was necessary to everything that was needed to right the ship occurred. Now you're like, wait, Scott, are you talking about movies and television? Like we're having a crisis, like an economic crisis? Yes, right? And the reason why is Hollywood is the greatest export of America today, and it's far more important than money. Money just determines who gets to eat and like a few other things, right? Who gets a roof over their head, who gets to eat, right? And And that's pretty much it, right? But our entertainment is far more powerful than that, right? There are stories of our greatest allies every single day watching our American entertainment. Literally being at war with America at the same time they would watch our movies and our television shows. It is the most powerful thing on the planet. American celebrities can do things that no one... Okay, just think about Will Smith. He slapped a man in the face. That's like any other regular person, right? There's no way you would slap somebody in the face and then have 1,000 witnesses and then go to a party with those same witnesses. No, that would not happen with any... You couldn't purchase it. You could not pay people $1,000. You couldn't pay 1,000 people to make them watch you slap another man bold-faced, like just a bold-faced slap in the face, which, frankly, many other people would say, oh my goodness, that's assault, right? Like, in many opinions, that's considered assault, right? Like, and so, no, you could not purchase it, but his American celebrity allowed it, right? And there was really no consequence whatsoever. Like, never saw it a day, no handcuffs, no police showed up, like nothing. Like, just, you're an American celebrity. Of course no one could say a thing, right? And that's the point, is our entertainment is far more powerful than our finance sector, period. And they're not even remotely in the same league, right? So the reality is Vivek Ramaswamy has this opportunity to completely change the script, right? And say, I'm going to count crises in ways that Republicans have traditionally not counted crises. And why would he do that? Well, the reality is the Republicans have gotten their butts kicked by Hollywood forever, and there's never been anything they could do about it, right? But if Vivek Ramaswamy is willing to go down this road and say, I am considering the sacrificing of the American cinema on the altar of streaming as a domestic American crisis, he can use every lever that the president has. He can give tax benefits. He can literally, and that's enough to move the ball right there. Oh, he can give huge grants, right? He can have the U.S. government pay rentals, right, on open space in every state to create new content, right? And say, this is the American steel, and I'm going to specifically aid this industry, and I will continue to use every single mechanism, the law, the process, the power, the attention that an American that an American president can bring, and I will fix the problem of American cinema, right? I will fix the domestic American crisis of streaming, right? And at that point, completely reshape and say, listen, every company that shutters their streaming service right now and encourages every single person they currently entertain to return to traditional American movie going, we will massively benefit them in every possible way. By taxes, by outright grants, right? We will literally move money. We will print money, right? And move it to and move money to Hollywood studios exactly the way they move money to banks today, right? It's a complete reshape of American health, the health of our nation, right? And if Vivek Ramaswamy goes down this road, he can immediately say, listen carefully. Donald Trump is the only person that can change the world, right? And right now, that's why Donald Trump is so powerful, right? Is every American knows if we have another 4 years of a coward president, we will remain under the thumb of Vladimir Putin. And none of us will ever be able to afford a car or a house again. Every American knows this. Every American knows if anybody wants to own another house or another car ever who isn't a millionaire, we have to have a Republican president. And it really won't matter which Republican president gets in, because they're all going to follow the Republican playbook, right? So Vivek has to distinguish himself and say, I guarantee you things will happen that you do not expect. And that's what people want. They know if they bring President Donald Trump back, things will happen that they never expected, and they will be delightful and good. Vivek has to prove he can do that as well. And that can only be done with outlandish unpredictability and completely reshaping how we look at American economics. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.